Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go Quick Look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and we have the Harukaze Yo, our Western handled Aogami Super Gyuto 180mm knife. So this line has a core steel, a harder core steel of what's known as Aogami Blue Paper Super reactive high carbon steel from Hitachi, also known as Aogami Super or AS. Heat treat's about 63 Rockwell, so this steel can take a high level of heat treat. It's got very, very good edge retention, and it's very reasonable to sharpen as well. It takes a wicked, wicked edge. The construction is 3 layers, so on either side of that hard core steel, you've got a soft stainless cladding, and this cladding has a hammered or tsushime effect to it. And there's a frosted, sandblasted type blade road where the grind is going down to the core steel peeking out. We'll get a close-up of that. It's a very nice aesthetic. This is a kind of a striking looking knife with this finish on it. Weights and dimensions can vary just a little bit from knife to knife. This one is 169 grams or 6 ounces, right on the money. 182 millimeters on the edge, or about 7.2 inches roughly. 304 millimeters or 12 inches on the overall length. Height is about 43.4 millimeters. And then the spine thickness is about 1.9, just pretty much all the way down. So 1.9 millimeters all the way. Not a ton of taper. You can see it pretty much maintains a lot of that thickness until you hit that grind and it thins up towards the tip. It's a good performing knife, but it's got some stoutness to it. It's got some backbone to it. This knife feels completely different than the Wa or Japanese handled version. It's got more mass to it because of the heavier handle. It's a little bit more of a workhorse feel to it. Not quite as high performance as the other one. It's just a different style of knife. They're not the same blade by any means. So the handle on this is rosewood. Looks like stabilized rosewood. Nice fit and finish pretty much all the way around. Full-on metal bolster that flows into the blade, so it's a nice look. Balance point with that kind of lighter blade and shorter blade, it's going to be right there. It's basically just in front of that bolster. Pretty much right at that choil there. And so as long as you keep a reasonable grip, you've got some decent board clearance to it. If your hands are really tall, this is not a very tall knife. I'm sorry, if your fingers are really big, not a super tall knife, so depends on what your preferences are, but you've got adequate board clearance with the attention to your grip, as long as your hands aren't too big. Let's see. Out-of-the-box edge, these are usually a pretty good out-of-the-box edges. This had a nice bevel on it, fairly aggressive on the angle, as you can be with Aogami Super, you'll see that, and maybe a 6 out of 10, so it had a well-crafted edge to it. Let's take a close-up look at the actual knife. As I said, it's a very nice looking blade. So you've got lots going on here. You've got a hand-hammered, kind of semi-polished finish to the sides. You've got hand-chiseled kanji. You've got a sandblasted finish on the blade rotor where the grind is that goes down towards the edge. And then you can see where the core steel peeks through there. It's a really cool look. And then you got your actual shiny edge bevel. And as I said, they're not bashful on their angle here. You can see it's a fairly wide bevel. It looks to me like pretty close to 50-50 bevel, 50-50 grind. On the left side of the blade, you've got some embossed kanji. They've polished the spine a little bit. The edges are just slightly relieved. The choil is a little sharp, but not too much. You might want to kit that with a little sandpaper and clean that up if you felt like it. As I said, the overall aesthetic is very nice on these. It's got a confident, stiff feel on the cutting board and through product. Here's your profile. So you'll see a little bit of flat towards the heel, slight relief at the heel on the belly or profile. So you kind of flow there, a little bit of a flattish area back there, low belly kind of all the way up. So this is not a super archy, big belly type knife. It's fairly low all the way around. I can get right in there before I start digging that tip in. You can see the tip's pretty low in relation to the knife center line. But I can rock over short stuff, no problem. Push-pull cuts, a little bit of chopping towards that rear third of the blade. So I've done a lot with the length of this blade as far as making the profile pretty versatile, I think. But it's just a cool looking knife. So if you're looking for something with some stainless cladding for easier maintenance, high edge retention, nice, easy to, pretty easy to sharpen coarse steel. That'll get really, really sharp with the knife with a lot of looks to it. It's a pretty cool blade. So this is the Harukaze Yo or Western Aogami Super Gyuto 180mm knife.